times, 4 times. Doing gang things, living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Being on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't cheat, screaming bump these hoes. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 20 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that, man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom while you beat these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the street these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah.
Shalom, 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 and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Never hold back on that wop, I'ma let it rain. Maybe honest, I gotta rain. All praise to the most high, let it sing. A real man, boast, this is not the game, and I ain't going nowhere. This is not a game.
I can start doing that. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you all have had a great day. I pray that the day was kind to you. Thank you so much for being here with me this evening. Just in case you don't know who I am, I go by Miss Mono's World in these content creator streets, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places the content creators be. If you are not on our YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Meet the Monos. Meet the Monos on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. Okay? Or upload. Even though we don't really upload that much. It's more of a go live situation over here because we love you. Because we love you. All right. If you would like to keep up with events that we have going on here, we announced B3 like last week, actually. We announced B3 last week. Actually, you want to keep up with what's going on with F3 for next year, please head over to the IG and the Facebook at F3 Fringe Up Family Fest. That way you can stay posted on what we have going on as far as events here at the House of Mono. I have to. I don't see his thing on here. Oh, okay. I have to shout out my husband, you guys. I have to shout out my husband. He's such a good man. That man is so good to me. He's such a hard worker and he's so supportive um of whatever whatever I have going on. But he finds time to work and provide for us and to spend time with us and to be a supportive husband and father. So I just wanted to shout him out. Okay. Like, share, subscribe. If you're on the YouTube, turn on your notifications. If you would like to support our efforts here, okay. I know we don't like to ask y'all for money. We really don't. But some of you have expressed, hey, give us an opportunity to give, please. So if you would like the opportunity to give, please head over to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono, where $1 or $2 will do. $1 or $2 will do. Thank you so much in advance. Okay, let's see now. All right. A lot going on today. Like as I was watching, I watch a lot of YouTube commentary on current events. So as I'm watching the news, it was a lot going on today. The first thing I want to say is watch your kids, watch your husbands, watch your wife, because everybody around here. I don't know if y'all have heard about the man who got caught, the man who wears a wig that got caught in a I don't even want to say compromising, horrible position with a 14-year-old. And then unfortunately there was a pastor out of Florida who got caught with a 14-year-old that he had met up on a dating site. Terrible. Terrible. Watch your children. Keep those kids close to you. Listen, just because someone says they're an Israelite or they say they're in the truth or they have their fringes on does not mean that you just give them carte blanche to your family. Okay, the Bible says to prove a friend, make a person show themselves worthy. The Bible teaches us about the attributes of a teacher. And dare I say that if our discernment were sharp enough, maybe that would prevent some of these things that we find ourselves and our families falling victim to. But prayers to the victims and their families. And I hope those two men never see the light of day outside of a gym again. Okay. All right. So today, I wanted to talk about, I had an idea in mind, right? And then as I went to study for it, I got another idea and then it came back. So I think we're going to talk about the two things together. Whether you're listening live or on the replay, I want you to think of what's been angering you lately. And I want you to also think of the emotion behind that anger, right? Because anger is rarely ever by itself. You are usually driven to anger. So, you can be jealous or envious of someone, right? And that drives you to anger. You can be frustrated with someone who you feel like is misunderstanding you, and that will drive you to anger. So there are things that drive us to anger, right? Lack and poverty will drive you to anger. Being hungry will drive you to anger. Feeling inadequate can drive you to anger. So when you think of the things that are making you angry, or even dare I say the people that are making you angry in your life, I want you to also think about where that anger stems from, where it came from, right? The first thing I want to do, I want to go to our first scripture. I want to go to Genesis 4. Okay, we're going to start at Genesis 4. I am going to be reading out of the NIV, but if you want to read out the KJV, that's no problem. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. Okay, Genesis 4, we're going to start at verse 4 through verse 7. I don't know why my children are FaceTiming me right now. Okay, verse 4. And Abel also brought an offering, fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering, he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry and his face was downcast. Okay. So, I wasn't sharing my screen. My bad, you guys. So we already see that Cain was angry, right? But like I was just saying, that anger did not come out of nowhere. That anger came from a previous, if you will, emotion. Okay, no, that is not a good look. Okay, we'll do it like that. That anger came from, if you will, a previous emotion, right? An emotion of, you could say he was jealous. God accepted Abel's offering and did not accept Cain's offering. He may have felt inadequate. I mean, why wasn't my offering good enough? Even though Cain was disobedient, right? Cain was disobedient. He did not bring God exactly what he asked for. And isn't that how we do sometimes? Like, isn't that how we do sometimes? Like, we will not do what God has asked us to do, or we will do something that we know we have no business doing. And then when God lets us know that he is not pleased, we'll look around and be mad at other people. Well, like it's their fault that they did what they were supposed to do. Like it's their fault that we did not do what we were supposed to do. Isn't that like weird how that happens? Let's go to 1 Samuel, because we're gonna talk about another example of this. And one thing I appreciate, and I know y'all like, she always talk about this Bible study group. Yes, because it is so edifying. One thing I appreciate is revisiting these stories and being able to relate them to our current present day lives. It is really so enriching. Okay. So we're gonna go to 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 6. Verse 6. When the men were returning home after David had killed the Philistine, the women came out from all the towns of Israel to meet King Saul with singing and dancing, with joyful songs and with timbrels and lyres. As they danced, they sang. Saul has slain his thousands and David his tens of thousands. Saul was very angry. Here we are again, that same emotion, anger. This refrain displeased him greatly. They have credited David with tens of thousands, he thought, but me with only thousands. What more can he get but the kingdom? All right. So Saul is clearly jealous. He's jealous. Okay. The women are singing and they're singing David's praises and they're making David seem like Thor. Okay. I mean, he's just the greatest. And Saul, he's the king, right? So you mean to tell me that there's a man out here that y'all reverence more than me? And so he's immediately threatened. If the people love him this much, then oh my goodness, what's next, right? They could replace me with him. Okay, but here we see Saul is angry, right? Let's go down a little bit more. Verse 15. When Saul saw how successful he was afraid of him. But all Israel and Judah loved David because he led them in their campaigns. Okay. So again, Saul is jealous. David's doing good. The women are singing his praises. Every fight he's getting in, he wins. And you would think, as the king now, he's someone he's in charge of all this. He's making the orders around here. But when he sees David getting more praise than him, he becomes jealous and he becomes what? He becomes angry. And so this is why I said at the beginning, yes, I want you to think about what has you angry. But I also want you to think about why that thing upsets you so much, okay? Some of y'all mad at y'all baby daddies right now. Ex-husband, child's father, however you want to address him. And I mention this because it's a common thing. We all go through it, right? But why are you angry? Why are you angry? This is what I need us to think about. Some of you, and we'll go through some of the symptoms and we'll discuss this a little bit later, but I really just want y'all to start. Why does this thing upset me so much? Why do I let this person anger me? Okay. So you might be thinking like, what's the problem with anger anyway? We all get angry, right? We all get angry. It's not a sin to be angry. The Bible tells us to be angry, but sin not. What's the problem with anger? Let's go to Matthew 5. Let's go to Matthew 5. Verse 21. You have heard that it was said to the people long ago, you shall not murder. And anyone who murders will be subject to judgment. But I tell you that anyone who is angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Anger is not a what's the word? It's not a neutral emotion, if that makes sense. Neutral emotion. What we can deduct from this verse is that anger leads to murder. It can. Let's take a look at the two scriptures that we just read. Okay, we went to the story of Cain and Abel. Cain became angry, and if you keep reading that story, he murdered his brother. Saul, if you keep reading that story, you can already see where he's afraid. If you just keep going down a little bit past verse 15 and 16 where we were reading, he was setting David up multiple times. He wanted to, and I quote, pin David to the wall. So we see in the Bible that anger leads to, and I know what you're saying. I got my emotions in check. I got my emotions in check. I'll never let it get that far. Well, let's see what James has to say about that. Because as someone who watches a lot of true crime and body cam stuff, I often wonder like what pushed that person to that point, right? What pushed them to the point that they ended up risking their freedom, risking their life, and going to jail behind whatever incident they're facing or dealing with? What happened? You don't just, or at least I've heard, I don't know because I've never murdered anyone, but you don't just allegedly wake up one day and say, I think I'd like to go on a rampage. That's not what happened. We can tell from our stories here that an emotion is triggered and that emotion leads to anger. Let's see what the Bible has to say about anger. We're going to go to James 1:19. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. Therefore, get rid of all moral filth and the evil that is so prevalent, and humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. And so when I ask y'all, why are you triggered by whatever you're triggered by? That's the definition of a trigger. Something that makes you angry, something that takes you to a different place emotionally. That's my question. Why are you triggered by what you trigger by? Why do you let something make you angry? And even if when we go to James, and this is echoing, I think this is echoing Proverbs. where it says to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger, right? So we're hearing this principle again. I fathom to say that if you really sat back and thought about the things that you consider your triggers, that it's a lot of you trying to control or trying to have things that you don't necessarily have, right? The formal definition of jealousy is the resentment or fear that arises when someone has, receives, or threatens something that we think should belong to us. And so we're just going to talk about romantic relationships because I feel like, that's the easiest for everyone to relate to, right? And so when we as women go through breakups, some of us seem to feel like that person belongs to us for as long as we want them to. We're not done until I say I'm done. This is the attitude that a lot of y'all take. And while you may never say it, your actions show it. Right? Your actions show that. What do you mean? Well, you can't have a conversation with the man without shouting, yelling, cussing, and you're not displaying self-control. You can't co-parent effectively because you can't get over your jealousy. What do you mean jealousy? I'm not jealous. You are. And here's another thing I need you to consider, because we only consider jealousy when another person is involved, right? Like you will only consider it jealousy if there's another woman lurking around. But you need to consider that you are jealous of his emotions, his love, his time, his affection, whatever that thing is that you want from him. You are jealous over that from him. And the fact of the matter is, you are not getting that anymore. Or unfortunately, in some of your cases, you were never getting that in the first place. Before we get into this, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. If you would like to donate to support our efforts here, please head over to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono. You are jealous over something that you cannot have. Whether it's because he is sharing it with another person or he just won't give it to you. You want that feeling. You want his heart. That's what you say, right? And unfortunately, a lot of us have not learned how to control our emotions, how to accept the things that we cannot change, right? We all know the serenity prayer, or we've heard it. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to accept what is it? God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to do something, and the serenity to accept it. Something like that. Y'all Google it. It's on there. But basically, it's like, Lord, please help me to accept the things I can't change. We don't like to do that. And also, I feel like sometimes we default to the I can't change this instead of digging a little deeper and saying, maybe there is something that I can do about this, right? Because there are natural solutions to our emotional issues, right? It's faith and work. And this is something we talk about a lot in my Bible study group because we are all about practically applying biblical wisdom. I gotta flip my phone over. Practically applying biblical wisdom so that we can be successful in life, right? One of the main principles that I find misapplied or not applied well enough is faith without works. I don't know what y'all think it means if you don't believe that applies to everything that you do. There's an example, I want to say it's in James. where the writer is like, what good is it for you to tell somebody God bless you when they need a coat and you're standing there with extra coats? Give them a coat. You're useless with just your words. Thank you. Thank you so much. I knew it was something. I just couldn't get it in my mind. Courage to change the things I can and wisdom to know the difference. And we're going to get to that. And so we're kind of talking about that now, the wisdom to know the difference. A lot of y'all, unfortunately, have the wisdom to know the difference, but you do not have the courage to change. What do you mean, courage to change? You do not have the wherewithal within you for whatever reason. For whatever reason. I was talking to my mom about something, and my mom is very cut and dry when it comes. She don't deal with nonsense. She don't suffer much nonsense at all. If she see you doing something stupid, she gonna tell you it's stupid no matter how you feel about it, right? So one time I was talking to her about something, and she was like, well, you tolerated it. And that's the point blank truth sometimes. You tolerated it. You did not have the courage for whatever reason to change your situation. I was talking to her about something else, and she said, for whatever reason you did not do such and such and such. It was something that I had wanted to do. It was a goal of mine that I hadn't met, and I was feeling a little down about it. And I don't know why I wanted to talk to my mama about that, because she ain't one for the sympathy at all. So she was saying, for whatever reason you did not meet your goal, the fact is you just didn't meet it. None of your reasons are a time machine for you to go back and change what you did or did not do. Angelina, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. So I can sit here all day and tell you, oh, I didn't become a doctor because I wasn't supported enough as a youth. This happened to me, that happened to me. And no, I can't go back and change it, right? Even me taking responsibility today, right? Just like the excuse is not a time machine, you taking responsibility is not a time machine. I'm not saying that you taking responsibility is going to allow you to travel back in time and make a change. The only thing, the thing that taking responsibility is going to help you with is moving forward and advising those who come behind you. If you're honest with yourself, which a lot of us aren't, especially when we're talking about failed relationships, like when your kids come asking you, well, mommy, what happened to you and daddy? A lot of us aren't ready to be honest with ourselves and say, well, you know what? Maybe I could have did a little better in this area. Maybe I could have done a little better in that area. You know what? I was the dummy. I should have never been with him in the first place. You won't have those conversations with your daughters. You just keep telling them all men are bad, all men are bad, all men are bad. And then when you're raising hell on wheel man haters who won't give you no grandbabies, won't settle down, just out here living a whole life, you want to wonder where that came from. I never taught them that. You think you didn't, but every time you sat there and told them all men are dogs, men ain't ish, black men is sorry, they don't want to do nothing. Every time you sat there and told them that, you were teaching them to be a hoe. The only way that you are going to be able to break generational curses, like y'all love to, I'm breaking generational curses. How, ma'am? And you won't even tell your kids the truth about your own life. Repent, confess one to another so that you can be healed. I know you feel like that doesn't apply to your kids, but I'm here to tell you that it does. From my own personal testimony. I can't tell you how free that I am, that I have no secrets from my family. I don't have any secrets from my husband. I don't have any secrets from my kids. Because if I keep the secret and it's festering, now when this same demon tries to inhabit my children and tries to prohibit their progress and tries to oppress them and keep them down, they have no roadmap. They have to start all over from scratch trying to figure everything out. Why would I do that to them? And I say I love them. You're letting anger control you so much to the fact that you are depriving your children of wisdom and knowledge. Think about that for a second. How do you feel about yourself as a parent? Think about it. I try not, I don't want to I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to make you cry. I don't want to make you feel bad about yourself. I want you to wake up. I want to equip you with the biblical knowledge and the methods of practical application. Okay, so I'm jealous. I'm jealous of my sister. She has the house I want. She has the car I want. She has the marriage I want. She has the family that I want. I'm jealous of my sister. She's leading a prayer group. I'm jealous of my sister. She wrote a book. I'm jealous of my sister. She has her own business. How can I help? Lord, help me. How can I stop being jealous of my sister? Because that jealousy, again, is what leads to anger. We saw it with Cain and we saw it with Saul. We even saw it in James. That jealousy is going to lead to anger. And anger does not produce righteousness. And if something does not produce righteousness, then what is it producing? Some things are black and white. If the fruit is not good, then what is it? It's not a trick question. If you go to pick up an apple, it's either a good apple or it's a rotten apple. So if this anger is not producing righteousness, then Proverbs 4. I'm gonna just pull it up. I'm not gonna share the screen again. Proverbs 4 verse 23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Okay. And I want to talk about that for a minute because like last week we talked about being a hopeless romantic, right? And one of the things that I commonly hear when I talk to people who label themselves a hopeless romantic or who just want to be in love and want to be in a relationship, that's one of the things I hear. Oh, I wear my heart on my sleeve, or I put my all into people when I like them. But the Bible tells you not to do that. And here, practical application, biblical knowledge, guard my heart. That means everybody doesn't have access to my feelings and emotions. You can't bother me, boo. You're not that important in the cast of characters in my life. I'm not saying you're not important. I'm sure your mother and your family love you very much. But at the end of the day, like you're not a main character in my cast. So who cares what you think? Unless a brother or sister is coming to you in righteousness and in love and in correction, who cares what you think? And I have to add a little like asterisk here, okay? Because some of y'all will never feel like correction is in love. But if you be honest with yourself and you know that that sister or that brother is offering you some correction, then you got to take it on the chin and eat it. But other than that, like I don't know if y'all seen it. I posted on Instagram about people not waiting for the trailer at the end of Marvel movies, right? And I like the interaction has been crazy. I'm like, see, I'm not the only one that feels this way. But somebody called me dim in the comments because I said something about like teaching the next generation, and they were like, oh well, you don't like just trying to insult me. Who are you? Like, okay, you think I'm The audacity for people to think that their opinion matters that much to a total stranger. You've got to have enough sense to realize, like, you don't rise my sun or set my moon. I'm not going to allow you to anger me. Another thing, and I'm flow with me here, right? Because a lot of us are angry with our children just for being children. They're supposed to be loud. They're supposed to ask a lot of questions. Okay. I know we adults have gotten older here and we may have forgotten what it's like to get dropped off in a new place. But just imagine that. I don't know how many of y'all have watched Severance. And I didn't watch the whole thing because I just couldn't take it. But in Severance, they put these people to work in this office building and everything is white, right? They forget their memory. They forget who they are outside of work. So every time they come in, it's like, what is this? What am I doing? Why am I here? What happened to me? It's kind of the same thing with kids, except they've been dropped into a whole new planet. Okay? Think about this. A baby comes in knowing nothing. A baby comes in here with no forethought, no knowledge. I know y'all like to make jokes about, oh, this baby been here before, but in reality, they know nothing. You have to teach them from the smallest thing. And I guess y'all feel like once they start to walk and talk or whatever and feed themselves and they should be totally independent and not need you anymore. That's the furthest thing from the truth. The more capable they become, the more they do need your parental guidance. But let me say this to you. You keep yelling at them when they're little. You keep fussing at them when they ask you questions. Every mom sets you off. You're swatting them away. You're telling them to get out of your face. And all they want is for you to read a story with them or watch TV with them or help them open this, or they want to be a part of your world. I'm here to tell you that there will come a day when they are going to have a world of their own. And because you were not open with them when they wanted to be a part of your world, you are going to have a hard time being a part of theirs when you need to be. Shantae, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Chief Bright Eye, shalom and shalom. Because think about how you feel. See, think about how some of y'all feel. Because sometimes, when you call yourself liking somebody, you just lose all common sense. But if you call this dude one time and he don't answer you back, you call him again and he don't answer you back, it's a problem. Right? Any woman with any common sense, first of all, but any woman with any common sense is going to be like, okay, well, I tried and you're not answering. So boom, I'm going to go about my business. Why? Because clearly you don't want to be bothered. Clearly you don't want to be bothered. You have to understand you're sending these same signals to your children when you are shooing them away, telling them to get out of your face. I need a nap. I'm this, I'm that. And I understand being overwhelmed as a single parent. This is why I tell anyone who is up under me, you know what you don't want? You don't want to end up a single parent. I have drilled this to my daughters, to my cousins, to anybody that will listen. Being a single parent is a hard life and there is no reprieve. You don't got no backup. It's you all the time. You're not meant to handle that. We've made it acceptable and we've made it cute now. Oh, I'm this. I'm a boss B and I'm an independent woman and half of y'all is out here going crazy, overworked, underpaid, health all out of whack, mental health holding on by a string because you won't listen. You won't listen. There's no easy route to single parenthood. And now that you find yourself in the throes of it, you got to learn how to conduct yourself in a productive manner for yourself and your children. And anger, what did we read earlier in James? Anger does not produce righteousness. The Bible tells us, fathers, don't drive your children to wrath. But not to add to the word, but because a lot of us are single moms, that's going to apply to you as well. Don't provoke your children to wrath. We always talking about the epidemic of angry Black boys who come from fatherless homes. Do you think if you are in that situation already, do you think there's any way that you can try to mitigate that? You as a single mom being angry all the time, raising a Black boy or even a Black girl, you are setting them up to have anger be their lead voice. That is how they're going to lead. They're going to lead with anger because that's what they learned at their foundation. Her shows a path, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Maria, thank you for joining me, sis. Proverbs 19, wisdom yields patience. Hold on. I want to quote this the right way. There's another way I need y'all to look at anger. All right. We talked about the children. We talked about you being jealous over someone's emotion. We talked about being angry with your children. I want you to consider the people that you come in contact with on a daily basis. And this is why I had asked you originally to get in your brain the people or the things that make you angry. Sometimes you have to realize the mental and emotional and intellectual capacity of the people that you are dealing with. What do I mean by that? Well, when you're dealing with a child, you know that it is a child, right? You don't expect to get the thought process or the conversation from a 5-year-old that you would from a 20-year-old. You don't expect that because this is a 5-year-old. For those of us, especially those of us who consider ourselves enlightened, you have to understand that everyone around you is not. Okay? And everyone around you does not know that they are not. All right? Those of you who are Bible believers and you are seeking the way and you are leading with fruit and the law of kindness is on your tongue, then you have to understand that the world around you is not going to operate at that same level. You are the one who said you wanted to live by the fruit of the Spirit. You are the one who said you wanted God to be pleased. You want to be an example. You want your life to be a living witness and a testimony to the goodness of God. Do you think that that means that you're never going to be tried? You have to learn how to discern when someone's sole mission in life is to aggravate you. And sometimes it's not always spiritual, right? People like to make it so deep, like, oh, their assignment in life is to be your enemy. No. Some people are just jerks and they get off on provoking other people. I mean, look at our social media behavior. You have people actually faking catastrophes for likes and shares and monetization. You have people who get on here and will purposely, they call it rage bait. They will purposely say things to anger people and incite people. Why? Because they know that that is going to get more of a reaction than a peaceful, pleasant, and calm presentation. Think about it. Think about when you're scrolling Facebook, that issue that every time you see an article on it, you have to click it and you're angry when you're reading the comments of people who don't agree with you because how could y'all be so stupid? Just like that happens in social media, that happens in real life. It's people who get off on trolling other people. And when you show yourself to be easily trollable, then they keep coming back to you for entertainment. I love watching The Simpsons. Okay, that is my comfort show. I put it on to go to sleep. If nothing else is on and I just want some noise, I'm turning on The Simpsons. Okay. Why? Because I like to laugh. I like the show. I like the way I feel when I watch this show. So I'm going to keep watching it over and over again. Well, if I'm a person who enjoys seeing people driven to anger, it's a show for me every time I run into you and I know I can say boo to you and you're going to turn red and start getting angry and trying to cuss me out and make a fool of yourself. Everyone should not have access to your emotions. People should not even be able to get that kind of rise out of you. And now let me talk to my ladies of a particular age who may be in the throes of menopause, or you may be just experiencing a heightened level of anger that you had not in your younger years. It is okay to seek medical attention for that. We just had to talk about that in our Bible study group chat. Pray about everything. Pray without ceasing over everything. But if you feel like this is affecting your quality of life and it's affecting your relationships and it's overwhelming to you, seek medical help, please. Okay? But aside from that, evaluate your opponent, not your opponent. Evaluate the person you're in conversation with, the person who you could have this potential conflict with. Are they a suitable opponent? Are they worth the emotional energy of your anger? Sometimes when people try to, and no, all the time when people try to insult me online, it's laughable to me because that says something about you that you would go out of your way to try to demean a perfect stranger. You must live a sad and pitiful life, and I'm so sorry about that. It says something about people who go out of your way just to upset you. That ex who won't stop calling you. That baby daddy who keeps provoking you and pushing all of your buttons. You should begin to pity and feel sorry for them. And you should understand that they're kind of like a crackhead and they get off on playing with your emotions. So somebody has to put on their big girl panties in this situation. So let me remove access to my emotions from this fiend. Because a crackhead does not care about the person that they buy the crack from. They just want the crack. A person who gets off on zapping your emotional energy doesn't care where they get the emotional energy from. They just want the crack. And you keep selling it to them. And you're wearing yourself down, worrying yourself down. Every time you get angry, don't you feel like a part of yourself being depleted? Well, I can't control it. If you can't control it, then remove yourself from it. Why do you want to stay in a relationship where you are constantly pushed to an emotion that does not produce righteousness and you say the goal in your life is righteousness? Even before we get to anger, some of y'all are staying around people who purposely make you jealous. Like that girlfriend that every time she gets something, she got to show it to you, even though she know you struggling. She know you in between jobs right now. But every time she got to send you a picture of the shoes. She got to tell you about, oh, I did this and I did that. Why do you keep being friends with that person? You know how it affects you when you hear that. You know it makes you sad. You know it provokes you to jealousy, even though you're trying to keep it in check because you don't want to be in sin, but it tempts you to experience jealousy. Remove yourself from said situation. That guy that you're dating, and he's also dating all these other women, but he doesn't have enough respect for you to keep it away from you. Remove yourself from this situation. When you continue to stay in relationships like that, whether it be a romantic relationship or a friendship, you are enabling a drug addict. It's something like that. Because they get off on making you jealous. Your girlfriend gets off on knowing that I'm doing better than her. She's struggling right now. Atticus, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. He just been sitting here spinning. Good night, baby. I love you. Thank you. Huh? Oh, okay. Well, I have to finish. So let me finish talking. You want to stay down here or you want to go upstairs? You want to stay down here? Okay, cool. All right. What was I saying? Yeah, I want us to can you close that door, please? I want you to consider what you're getting angry about, who you are getting angry at. Another thing that I need y'all to stop being angry about is I know, girl, I know. Don't even get me started. Yeah, remove yourself. Okay, remove yourself. Oh, I forgot I was supposed to be reading a verse in Proverbs. Proverbs 19:11 says, a person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense. And I can attest to this personally because I'm so proud of myself that I've gotten to the point where people's words don't bother me anymore. And I tell people this all the time. If I choose to engage, I was born in 1980. Okay. I went to high school in the 90s. I was bullied live in color and in person. There's no way some stranger over the internet is going to hurt me more than people who I used to spend 8 hours a day with for 4 years. Okay. But even with that, it makes me feel good. I can see the maturity and the growth in myself. You can walk with your head high. It's a boost to your self-confidence and your self-esteem when you have learned to control your emotions. Do I get it right every single time? No. No. But I have reached a point in my wisdom where my default is now silence. I'm going to default to silence and I'm going to default to walking away every time because I have learned that I don't have a middle ground when I am experiencing certain feelings. If I feel slighted, disrespected, belittled, that's still a little sensitive spot for me. And so instead of me sitting there trying to argue or trying to prove myself, I remove myself from the situation. And you have to be okay with walking away. It has to be more important how you feel about yourself than how other people feel about you. I can't imagine how many people die because they feel like they got to prove a point to everybody else and the situation just goes too far. And this is a principle my husband had to teach me when we first got married because I'll pop off. We can go. But it was him that kind of had to show me, and it's his own maturity. This is what he's learned in his life. It's not even worth it to argue because where is it going? Where's it going? I know I'm going to get angry and then I'm going to want to escalate the situation. Why put myself in that situation? Why do that? Why not just, you know what? Let me just remove myself. Let me go on over here about my business and find something else for me to do. And this is why I think we talked about this before. You have to learn how to be happy alone. You can't constantly need someone in your presence for you to think that you're happy. You have to learn to be happy alone because people are going to piss you off. People are going to make you upset. Everybody's not going to be your cup of tea every day. I love my husband. I love that man down to his dirty drawers that I wash proudly. Thank you very much. But there are some days when I be, you ain't got nowhere to go. You don't want to go hang out with your friends. You don't want to. And I know you think, oh, when I get married, I'm going to love that person all the time and we're just always going to be together. No, you're not. No, you're not. And you have to be okay with knowing, because when you don't know, now you're smothering. Now you're not giving the other person space to be themselves. And that's how relationships are destroyed. If a man tells you, give me a minute, I need some time, you have to, okay. You have to be confident enough within yourself to be okay with that and to walk away and be at peace and know, okay, well, when he gets himself together, we'll talk. But unfortunately, sisters, what a lot of y'all do is y'all will keep pushing these men and pushing these men and pushing these men. And I don't know about you, but I'm not volunteering to hold a red blanket in front of a bull and keep waving it in his face and daring him to charge me. But that's what a lot of y'all do. The man told you to leave him alone. Sister, be quiet. It's not disrespectful. You know what's disrespectful? Him punching you in the face. Him telling you, hey, sis, ma'am, babe, I need a minute. Can you give me a minute? That's prevention. You know how I feel about prevention? It's worth a pound of cure. The Bible tells us to be angry, but sin not. It's okay to have feelings. But you have to learn how to be okay with being alone, because when you need time to work through your own anger, you have to be okay with that. You can't want him to save you from yourself. You can't want him to save you from yourself. You have to do the work and you have to put in the time yourself to be able to control your own emotions, regulate your own emotions. Prevent the negative emotions as much as you can. Recognize them when they come, and have the courage to change and the wisdom to know the difference. And when you know that it's something that you cannot change, pray to God for the peace to accept it and the strength to go through it. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. When, like I told y'all, I watch a lot of true crime. And there's this new YouTube channel that I just got into called Just Thought Lounge. And he does true crime real good. But especially the romance homicides, it's always from someone being jealous. It always starts with jealousy. And I can't control this person. And instead of them walking away when they realized their emotions were out of control, they let it drive them to murder. I know of a sister in the truth who is in jail right now today. She was in an abusive relationship for a long time. One day she got fed up and decided to take things into her own hands. The reason she's in jail right now today is because he did hit her. This is allegedly, I wasn't there. Allegedly, he came in and attacked her. But when he was going to walk away is when she shot him. And that's not self-defense. Do you think that sister knew the first time he hit her, the first time he made her cry, the first time he provoked her? Do you think she knew then that she would end up in jail? If the Bible tells you to guard your heart and you're not guarding your heart, I don't. I'm not saying it's a sin, but it's something like a sin. It's something like one. Because as you can see from our examples, not guarding your heart leads to sin. It does not produce righteousness. We are out here leading with our emotions instead of guarding our heart. We are out here liking whoever smiles at us instead of guarding our heart. We will give our bodies, our minds, our hearts, and our soul to a flawed, fallible human being before we will ever totally surrender ourselves to the Most High, and that needs to be examined. I know that this may sound a little old school and a little, you're holding women back 50 years. But the Bible says that a fool vents freely. And a wise man is careful about when he speaks. As a lady, which I would pray that we're all striving to be, it is not wise to vent your emotions all of the time. You open yourself up to vulnerability. You open yourself up to predators. When you are so free with your emotions, you're so free to express your loneliness. Well, now you've opened yourself up to the homosexual. And ladies, the school year has started. Fall is coming and then is winter. So there are a lot of people out here looking for homes. Don't become a victim. This saying that it is better to remain quiet than to open your mouth and remove all doubt is very real. As a lady, it is better for people to wonder what you are thinking. Discern who you should expose yourself to. And if you are not feeling very emotionally stable, that may be a call to prayer, a call for more isolation. Sometimes we force ourselves to be social, or we force ourselves. Sometimes we have to go to work when we're just not ready. Okay, now I'm going to be a little quieter today because I know my emotions aren't in check and I don't want to sin. So I'm going to hold off a little, keep my conversation to a minimum. I'm cognizant of what I'm going through. So I'm going to be very sensitive and aware of how things are making me feel today. And my default is going to be silent because I'd rather be silent than to sin. It's not always about oppression. God's law is for protection. Wisdom and knowledge. Wisdom is empowering. I know knowledge puffeth up, and the more knowledge you get, the sadder you become. I know that. Wisdom is empowering. Knowledge is too, to a certain extent. But I really want us to deal with our emotions, and in particular, our jealousy. In particular, our jealousy. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live or when we upload. I know, this wasn't exciting and funny and sassy and stuff like that. But these are the talks that we need to have because, man, if we're not emotionally stable, then what hope is there? We are the mothers. We are the wives. We are the maintainers of the atmosphere in our homes. If I'm not emotionally stable, then what good am I to my family around me? How you want to be a light in the darkness, but you can't even keep your feelings in check? You still mad about some dude that you ain't seen in 5 or 10 years. You mad about something old girl said about you. Listen, there are people who have lied on me, who have talked about me. They don't know that I know, but they will call me. Can I ask your advice? Can we talk? Can we do that? And I'm right there. I'm right there. Why? Because I don't take it personal. Who are you to upset me like that? Like, who are you that I would expand that energy toward you? You show me how you feel about me. Thank you. If you need me in a ministry capacity, I am here for you because it is my job to be the hands and feet of the Most High. So, yes, in a ministry capacity, I'm here for you. Don't ever worry about receiving an invitation to my house again. But in a ministry capacity. Why? Because I've learned how to control my emotions. I didn't say it didn't hurt. Yeah, it hurts, man. That's crazy. Like, yeah, it hurts. But you'll never know. The people who need to know, my crew, my posse, the gang knows. The gang knows. You'll never know. Because above all, I am a representative of the Most High. When I'm around certain people, I am only there in that capacity as a representative of the Most High. Therefore, whatever Rationnette Phillips is feeling or going through is of no consequence and has no business in this equation. I would be putting myself before the Most High, and God forbid I ever do that. Even when I'm angry at my husband, me and my husband can have a falling out. I'm going to still go and cook that man food. I'm going to still do everything I intended to do. If I was washing clothes, I'm still washing clothes regular. The house is still running regular. Just because we had a disagreement and I might feel some kind of way doesn't mean that we let everything else just fall apart. Now, when we first got married, yes, until I learned how to control my emotions, I'm tearing everything up for the slightest inconvenience. But after I kept having to put things back, repair things, unpack bags, and realize, like, you dummy. You go through all that just to come right back here and be looking like an idiot, redoing everything you just undid. That's dumb and it's unproductive. I've learned to control my emotions. I'm still going to carry on as if things are normal. And if it's something that we can talk about later and come to a resolution, then I know that we will do that. However, if it's something that I realize that I cannot change without the power of the Most High, then me and God are about to have some kind of deep fellowship here. And ladies, let me say this. This is why it is very important to marry a man whose heart is toward God first. And I don't just mean somebody that says that. I mean somebody that shows you that in the way that he lives. And I say that because I cannot count how many times me and my husband have been in an argument and I went and prayed. And let me say, my prayer is always, Lord, if I'm wrong, show me where I'm wrong. But this is what I don't like. This is what I don't feel right about. This ain't fair to me, Father. I don't like this. And my husband, well, I promise you, it's like God is like our mediator. Because everything I said to him, my husband will come back and bring it up in conversation. I didn't mean to make you feel like this. This wasn't my intention. And I see da 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 da. And sometimes it works the opposite way. Sometimes I'm the one that has to go and apologize. And it's like the Most High is a mediator between us. That's why it's important to get you a man that is after God's own heart first. You have to be after God's heart first. He can't value you more than he values God. That's never going to work. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. Thank you, my sister. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shamika, shalom and shalom. Thank you for joining me, sis. I hope something that I said to you was edifying. I could keep talking about this topic because it's very layered, very deep, and I really feel like it's something that we need to get under wraps. Like, this is something that we need to conquer as a nation of women. We need to conquer our emotions. It makes us a laughing stock. I mean, you can scroll on Facebook anytime, and what you're gonna see? A bunch of black women in the street fighting. We got to get it together, y'all. So that was the purpose behind this. Lord willing, I will be back here with you next week. Same black time, same black station, 8:30. Why Boaz don't want your ass? If you would like to join us on Wednesdays, I don't know what to call it. I haven't came up with it, but Wednesday is ministry day for me. We have our prayer call that starts at 6:30. We meet via Google Meets. From 6:30 to 7 o'clock, we have our prayer call. From 7 to 8 o'clock, we have Bible study where we actually study the Bible. We take it verse by verse, scripture by scripture. We have color commentary, questions, side conversations. It is a rich Bible study. The more participation, the better. I love going through the scripture. I love finding new things, comparing it to our life today. Like today we read about when Israel and his sons went to live in Goshen. And when we were reading about how the shepherds were detestable to the Egyptians, but like a week or two prior, we had read how the Egyptians wouldn't eat with the Hebrews because they were detestable. When the Egyptians went to Joseph, because it was the famine. This is in chapter, where were we? 46. The Egyptians went to Joseph. It was a famine, and Joseph ended up enslaving these Egyptians in bondage to Pharaoh. They had sold their land and they sold themselves because they were so hungry from the famine. And it just struck me, compared to what's going on today, right? And then we read about the priests who didn't have to sell their land because Pharaoh was giving them an allotment, and the allotment of allowed them to ride out the famine. Well, hello, here you have your first food stamps. Okay, your first welfare. Okay, the Israelites were sent to Goshen. All right, segregation. I mean, just so much stuff that that really comes alive when you read the Bible. And we have a time in there. We really do. So if you would like to be a part of that, you can send me a DM. I am at Miss Mono's World in these content creator streets. So Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Send me a DM if you have my number. Feel free to text. If you happen to know one of the other sisters, ask them to add you to the chat. We'll be more than happy. We would love to have you. If you feel led to donate to the ministry that we have going on here at the House of Mono, please head over to the YouTube $ the House of Mono. $1 or $2 will do. I thank you in advance, everyone who feels led to give or who does give. There are other ways that you can support what we have going on here. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube. Please come back every week and watch Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass, okay? 30 seconds is a view. All right. So, hey, I don't like what she's talking about next week. Okay, cool. Give me 30 seconds and then go on about your business. Give me 30 seconds, hit the like button and go on about your business. Okay. You can support any of our other social medias at F3 Frenched Up Family Fest. And I got to get my husband's stuff on here. But okay, at Monologue McGad, that's him on socials. That's the old YouTube. But I gotta get my husband's stuff back on here. I don't believe I did that. Ooh. Okay. So yeah, if you want to be in our Bible study, let me know. I'll be happy to add you. And that's every Wednesday. Every Wednesday is ministry day for us. Mark your calendars. Thanksgiving weekend B3 will be happening. Go ahead and mark your calendars. We are still. No, wait. Okay, I'm not gonna make that announcement yet because I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not gonna say nothing about that yet. Okay, I'm not sure. All right, so I love y'all so much. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I hope something that I said to you was edifying, whether you're listening live or on the replay. Every comment, every like, every share is deeply, deeply appreciated. Okay, I love y'all so much. What else? I don't want to keep saying the same things. I told y'all about the Bible study. I told y'all we'll be back next Wednesday. All right. In the meantime and in between time, I will see you in social media land. I will see you in the chat. Oh, our 7-day engagement challenge. I forgot to share this with you guys. Y'all, it has been so enriching. So we're doing a 7-day engagement challenge in Sisters That Pray in our group chat where we are sharing our prayer requests, our praise reports. We are diving into scripture, sharing scripture with each other. It has been so enriching. We talked about it today. A lot of the sisters are just getting benefits from it that I had not imagined. So I'm very, very happy to hear that. So again, if you want to be a part of what we are doing here, I promise you, if we're nothing, we are honest, pure-hearted, godly intentioned women. So please, if that's your vibe, come and join us. I love y'all so much. I will see y'all when I see y'all. I love you. Shalom, shalom, and good night.
Doing gang things.
Mono.
Living super clean. That it came
One time for my king doing king things. All these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I said,
Tune in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magad. Now also available on the Saya TV on Roku.